This Black's Tire 200 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credit.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. And look, we just got done talking about this before the show even started. Cody, this is the longest that we have gone in the 3 seasons that we've been doing this without seeing each other. And I miss you, buddy. I'm so glad to see your face on the other end of the screen.
Yeah, it's been 6 whole days since we've been on together, and that is our longest time apart, which has been really sad, and I hope to never do this again. But unfortunately, the weather, aka the books, got to us yesterday, rained out the show by not giving us any odds. But we're back. Casey Kane is back. Woo! Let's fucking go. Rockingham is back. Oh, I am pumped for this week. No Cup Series race. They're taking the week off before 28 straight weeks to finish the season. That's going to be fun. No weeks off for us, Rod. There are still trucks. There is Xfinity. Let's go.
If there is a race that is sanctioned by NASCAR, this show will continue to go on. It doesn't matter whether there's no cups. Although,
sometimes
when
even
is
ones that aren't.
Yes, that's true, though. Yeah, Indy, and then there's been F1 every once. Yeah, that's true. If there are cars on the track, Cody, more often than not, we are still on. I will say, though, that I was trying to think of when the last time the Cup Series was off and the other 2 series were on. I feel like it's been a while since that's happened, right? I don't remember the last time Cup's had the week off, but everybody else has been on.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look. I feel like maybe they've done this on Easter before Easter weekend, but I'm not sure. I can't think of, like, off the top of my head. I know the last couple of seasons, I don't think we've had that. So, like last week, we obviously had a 2-week break where there was no racing, but that was NBC Olympics tied in, all of that. So,
and that was everybody too. So.
Yeah, and everybody was off. So, but yeah, I'm glad that we've still got. And it kind of puts a highlight on these guys, right? Like, we've got a chance now to talk just Xfinity on this show. And then if you're listening or just trucks on this show, rather, we switched up the order. Way to go, Cody. Just trucks on this show. If you're watching live on the YouTube, right as soon as we're done with this one, we're going to jump right back on and talk Xfinity. That'll be in the podcast feed in the morning. But yeah, it gives us a chance to highlight these drivers and these series, which we would argue is just as good, if not better, on some weekends than the Cup Series is. And especially when it comes to the betting part of things, it at times seems like these series we have more, I guess we're better at betting on these series because I think they're easier to bet on.
Feels a little like old times, right? When we were talking just Xfinity and just trucks for a while and stretching our legs out and getting comfortable in the cab. But yeah, I mean, look, this is where we're at. But like you said, this gives us an opportunity to focus solely on trucks. And then, like Cody said, we're going to flip around. We're going to go double live today. As soon as we get done with this show, we're going to crank right back up and talk Xfinity. For those of you listening on the normal podcast feeds and Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, it'll just be the next day. So if you're listening to this today, you'll have to wait another day or come back and watch the YouTube video, which will be up later.
Exactly. That's the advantage of being subscribed over on the YouTube. Clicking that bell, you get both shows today.
Sure do. Jessica saying good afternoon. Hi, Jessica. It's her favorite time of the day. Trucks for sure. Laura saying hello, and Jessica saying it's an Easter miracle that everything's out. So Yeah, I mean, like they were a little slow on the uptake, but when we talk about this, we'll talk about this in a second because there's a lot to talk about when we talk about this particular track. But if you're looking for all of our stuff, right? We talked about how you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, of course, YouTube. But if you want everything that SGPN does all in one place, the picks, the podcasts in one convenient place, all you got to do, download that free SGPN app wherever you get your apps, be it the App Store. I think I said the other day that guys selling apps on the corner. If you want to take your chance buying those, by all means, go ahead. But yeah, go download that SGPN app. You'll find everything there. Yes, Cody, we are at the Rockingham Speedway. Holy cow, dude. This is one of those historic tracks, right? That you just know that we haven't been. Okay, so the last truck race that has been on this track was in 2013. Was the last time
some young kid named Kyle Larson nobody'd ever really heard of.
Yeah, never heard of this. Yeah, he went to Rockingham, North Carolina, led 187 out of 200 laps on this track, and just whooped everybody out there. Second place, by the way, was one Joseph Logano driving the 19 for Brad Keselowski. That'll take you right back there. So trucks have not been on this track in a very, very long time.
Yeah, 2013 for the Truck Series. Cup Series, I think, ran last year in 2004, so long time off for them. The track went dormant for a while. It's been sold and bought by different people. There's kind of been some entertainment stuff going on, but I think it was the COVID relief bills or whatever that kind of passed in North Carolina area. That's kind of what helped spark North Wilkesboro and gave them some influx of money. Rockingham also got some money, and they've gotten it restored here. I did see the Xfinity race was sold out. I would imagine the truck race would probably end up being that way as well. And so, this is a potential, will we get a cup race here in the future? I think we definitely could.
That would be, well, okay, we'll definitely have to see how these 2 weekends go as far as everything that's new about this track and how everything's going to matter. But
I'm about to tell you how this weekend's going to go, Rod. It's a brand new paved track that's going to be fast. It's going to look probably a lot like Bristol did last week.
Hey, and you know what? God, I wish we had a recap show because I want to talk about Bristol. It just, the whole, everybody, what people expect out of the world nowadays, it doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah, even if it does, that's fine. Like, I'm all right with that. Like, as long as there's some good quality racing along the way, then we're good.
I would like to make one comment on Bristol. If you are one of those people that wants old Bristol back, Cale Yarborough once won a race here where he led all 500 laps. Second place was Richard Petty, 2 laps down. Bobby Allison finished in third, 5 laps down. Dave Marcus in 4th place, 16 laps down. So if you want old Bristol back, it's actually going to look a lot worse than new Bristol did this past weekend. So I get it. There's been some good races in the past. There's been some good races like last spring. When people make these claims for, I want old Bristol back. Yeah, you want first place to win by 2 laps? And you want 4th place to be 16 laps down. Interesting take, but just my thought on Bristol.
It amazes me, and maybe because I am a little on the aged side of the cheese wheel, but I will say that when people look back fondly on things, it's not so much that they're looking back fondly on what happened. They're looking back fondly at how they felt when they were watching it. So, it's not so much that
they're looking at the Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt finish, and I get it. There's been some highlights, but if you look back through Bristol, not every race was just an absolute banger. There were still battles on the field and stuff, and we fucking told you last week it was going to be a chalk race. It was going to be Denny and Kyle. Whoa, holy shit, who was it? It was Denny and Kyle all day long. Anyways, but moving on.
Banger after banger.
Ash was checking in from across the pond. Evening, lads. Bovada and Sports Interaction, which is a Canadian site, I guess, that he's got over there. Both have Cup race outright So I have noticed there is outrights for Talladega already. So if you're interested in betting on that, go for it. But he also has Hemrick over Enfinger in a Hemrick top 5. We're going to be talking about some of those guys today. Walter was checking in. Let's Let's try that again.
And
He
six
said, "Hey
days.
guys,
It's all right.
hope all is well." I forgot how to talk. It's crazy. Truth Matters checking in. Xfinity race. Caesars had Sam Mayer at 25-1 when it opened. Holy shit. I had to grab him before they fixed it. That is a nice get there. I definitely would have advised betting on Sam Mayer at 25-1. So
well, I'm going to make
shout
a
out to you
case
for that.
later on, spoiler alert for him. So not nearly at 25-1, but definitely.
And Jessica, I am wearing my watch today. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We most certainly will. But let us first set up this race. It is the Black's Tire 200. We are set for 200 laps around this 1 mile paved track. Now, as we were talking about how we were breaking down this race and how we were trying to handicap this race, obviously we just told you it's been at least 13 years or 12 years rather since the Truck Series been here. It's been 21 since the Xfinity Series has been here. So you kind of have to look around. This has got some banking on it. It's got some 24-degree banking in the turns. It's not necessarily a short flat. So the closest thing you could compare to this, because you can't compare Phoenix. Phoenix is definitely, I got no banking, right? So you can't compare Phoenix. The Milwaukee Mile, same thing. It's more flat than this. So this compares a little bit to Dover, right? The paving, well, we'll see, but the banking and the way this is shaped. So
yeah, but Dover's more
comp.
Yeah, closest comp probably. I spent a lot of time looking at this because it's so, like you mentioned, it's just over a mile. It's got the banking. I had all this stuff pulled up here. So yeah, it's 1.017 miles. So it's a mile basically. But the 22 degrees, 25 degrees in the turns, only 8 degrees on the straightaway. It's D shape. So it really is its own beast. Like I struggled because you could pull some stuff from Dover, certainly. That's more bowlish, though, and banked even more. And this is completely repaved. So we saw with North Wilkesboro how that went when they repaved it. Think of that truck race right away where it just, it is going to be fast. I mean, they had a test back here in January, and it was like seconds faster than old Rockingham was. And it's not just because the cars are newer or faster now, because in a lot of ways they aren't actually, but because of the new pavement. So, and yeah, Walter bringing up New Hampshire, but New Hampshire's flatter. Darlington, you could sort of maybe look at because of the shape, but the corners are different, and that's a worn out surface. This is repaved. I mostly resorted to current form. What are you doing for me lately? I think this is going to be very fast. So, spoiler, there's going to be a lot of talk about JRM. There's going to be a lot of talk about JGR. There's going to be a lot of talk about Tricon. There's going to be a lot of talk about McAnally, because those are going to be the fast teams. Those are going to be the fast drivers. I lean more into that than just going with direct track comparisons because, and Lee bringing up Richmond. Richmond was another one that I would say maybe is even closer, but again, kind of an older tire abrasive. Like I don't think tires are going to wear on this surface. We don't really know what we're getting into, I guess, is kind of the best way to preface going into this one.
Well, see, and here's the thing, and I'll get to you in a second, little Joker. I see you popping up. When we talk about comp tracks, right? We love to say this is a comparable track. This is something that we're looking at. But the truth of the matter is we don't have those cookie cutter 1.5 miles that we used to just be able to say, all right, well, he runs well on 1.5 miles, because now it doesn't matter. No two short tracks are the same on the track, right? I mean, there are similarities, but no two track runs the same, because you can hug the wall in one. You have to run the bottom in two. All 3 lanes work in another, right? There's just no way. When we say comp tracks, we're really just saying how well they run on tracks that are similar, right? But you can't really.
Well, and then, like, what is it? Like, is this a short track? It's over 1 mile. So in the past, like a short track would have had to have been well under 1 mile. Now we consider mile tracks a short track, but this one's more than but it's not an intermediate because it's only just barely over 1 mile. But so it sort of falls into a weird thing. The way they got Sammy Smith priced everywhere, they think it's a fucking short track. I can tell you that. But I don't know. It's just it's hard to get a read on the direct comparisons for it.
Yeah. So with that in mind, when we start talking about the guys, a lot like Cody said too, I was looking at a lot of what have you done for me lately. I've looked a lot at what Dover was last season and just kind of took that into account, because we still have, we have a lot of young drivers in both series, in the trucks and the Xfinity Series, who don't even have a lot of starts at Dover, let alone obviously at Rockingham. But it's just a matter of where they've been running, how they've been doing, and can they keep it up into the future. So I told you I'll get back to you in a second. We got to step away for just a second. When we come back, we'll talk all about some trucks, and I have one thing to say when we come back. But first, let me tell you about Edge Boost. Have you ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Yeah, you have. Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but you've hit your ATM limit? Tell you what, man, I've told this story before. I'll tell it to you again. I was in Virginia. I was downloaded my app to start making legal bets in the state of Virginia. I was so excited. I was so ready to do it. And then all of a sudden I put in my card information and it said no. And I said, why? I've got plenty of money. And it said, because we don't allow you to load your card up on a betting site. And I said, that is just insane. And now I'm a little pissed off because I missed the opportunity to be able to do that. But Edge Boost wouldn't do that to me. No, because they've got my back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money where and when you needed it without the delays that can come with a traditional bank. And for you high rollers out there, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. And it gets better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you can earn back rewards up to 0.5%. All of this with no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and best of all, no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you are ready to go. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. So what are you waiting for? Nothing. Go to www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's www.edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, which, by the way, I think are happening. I've just found that out this morning. So they're coming up. You might want to go bet on them right now. Plus, they've got props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You get easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Look, I know the NBA playoffs are this weekend, but WrestleMania is this weekend, baby. And guess what? MyBookie has odds for the matches. So if you think that it is still Tiffy time for the women's championship, then she is going off at minus 110 over Charlotte Flair, who, by the way, I don't know why she's the favorite at this one. I know she's Charlotte Flair, but it's got to be Tiffy time, baby. How can you take the belt away from Tiffany Stratton? She is the people's champion, as it were. And then, of course, if you believe in LA Knight, yeah, plus 325 over Jacob Fatu. All that happening right now over on mybookie.ag. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. I spent a little bit of time talking WrestleMania with a few of my buddies over at the IBT channel last night, and I just got so excited about it. I don't know what it is about WrestleMania. It makes me feel like an 8-year-old all over again, and I love it.
There you go. I think, I believe Kyle Larson's going to be attending WrestleMania this weekend, Ron. So there's your NASCAR tie-in with WrestleMania. His son, Owen, I believe, yes, has been wanting to go. And, well, Kyle has a weekend off. Not really weekend off. He's going to be racing at Knoxville, I think, Thursday and Friday. And then he'll be headed to WrestleMania. So there you go.
In Las Vegas, by the way. So that's there you go. I wonder what the odds for a Kyle Larson pop-in are. I would love that. That would be awesome.
That'd be exciting.
Okay, Little Joker. Here we go. Little Joker wants me to know that Ty Gibbs is back.
Third place, baby. Third place at Bristol. We told you he was going to be good there. He was good there. Coming off 2 straight top 10s in a row. 9th place at Darlington. 13th the week before. Things are looking up in the 54 camp. Should we hit the panic button 4 races into the season? Oh, my God, the sky is falling. No, they're figuring it out, Rod. All right, sorry. Your turn to talk.
Truck race happening this weekend, and we are moving on to the Rockingham truck race. No, listen, I'll talk a little bit about him in the Xfinity, but yeah, really, honestly, yeah, you'll never get that out of me until he actually starts winning races and is in contention. Can you be back when you're 20th in the points? I don't know. All right, let's talk trucks. We are at the was it the Black's Tire 200. And look at the books gave us some good stuff. I'm sure they're still going to give us some more, but we have plenty to go over, as it were. So Cody, let us start loading up our betting card for this Black's Tire 200.
Let's do it. I really like some of the matchups they are offering us in the Truck Series this week. So I'm going to start off with the first one. Daniel Hemrick over Brandon Jones, -120 over on ESPN. I love Brandon Jones this week. I am very excited about Brandon Jones this week. And in a little bit here, as soon as this show's over and we hit record once again and talk about the Xfinity Series, I'm going to be talking Brandon Jones up to you, but not in the truck race, because he has not looked good in the trucks in a couple times we've seen him. 32nd place finish at Bristol, 12th place finish at Homestead, just kind of ho-hum, whatever. If there's anything I've learned about Brandon Jones, he has to be in the right equipment at the right time for things to work out. We just saw him at JRM, extremely fast organization with great cars and everything, and he just sucked the whole time. But previously, when he was at JGR, lights the world on fire. Now he's back at JGR. He goes into an Xfinity race, beats Christopher Bell, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain, all in good cars. But here in the Truck Series, he's in Tricon truck. Well, it's not JGR equipment, and it doesn't seem to agree with him. So, going to fade him. Daniel Hemrick has looked solid, a little bit of a slower start than we wanted, kind of kicking the season off, but things have picked up here lately. 13th place at Bristol last week was so and okay, but a decent enough run. I think he'll be fine. Won at Martinsville, obviously. 13th place at Las Vegas as well. Really, I have actually high hopes for Hemrick, and I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit here this weekend. But if he can just get a top 10, I think he's going to be able to pretty easily beat Brandon Jones. Jones is just, we don't have a ton of truck to look at for Brandon Jones. 2020 was the last time he'd started truck races before this season. So not a ton to go back and look on, but also that one truck for being the all-star quote unquote truck for Tricon. Has it really been that good? Not really. So fading Brandon Jones, riding Daniel Hemrick. So Hemrick over Jones, -120 over on ESPN. Also, that reminds me, we did not talk about the entry list, Rod. So real quickly, there are 35 entries for the Truck Series. They will all make the race. Brandon Jones is in the one truck for Tricon, who, of course, we just talked about. Sammy Smith is in the 07 for Spire, so he's coming down from Xfinity as well. No Cup guys, per se, in this one, but we do have those Xfinity guys stepping down. Corey Day is going to be back in the 7 truck for Spire. He actually had the fastest lap here in the Xfinity test session, but we've not seen anything out of him, so I don't think we'll be talking about him today. Really, that's all the notables. Parker Kligerman in the 75 is going to be back. Luke Fenhouse is in the 66. Timmy Hill's in the 56. He's back. We might be talking. We got a little truck and Xfinity action on DFS tomorrow. Probably going to be talking about Timmy Hill because I just love him. But yeah, there's the entry list for you too.
Yeah, that 07 is really not turning the wheels for me right now. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. And of course, what's funny to me is that these Cup guys, none of them even want to be at the track. They're all like, nope, we're going to go away and we're going to spend some time away from the track, which by all means, please do.
I thought that was interesting. And I don't think there was anything about how they couldn't run this weekend. Like a lot of times if we go to a new track, they won't let them run in the races leading up to the Cup race just to not have that extra advantage. But I don't think there was anything in it, but you also have to think, 28 weeks in a row they're about to go, and so why didn't Hendrick bring the 17 this week, especially with Casey Kane? Rick put the sponsorship on Casey's car, which we'll talk about in the Xfinity show, but maybe just giving all those guys a week off because it's going to be a brutal stretch for these teams kind of running down, the rest of the season with 28 weeks in a row.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of weeks off like the Truck Series. So love that. All right. My first bet is a head-to-head as well. This is where I will admit that I have been keeping my head in the sand for a very long time, and that's Caden Honeycutt. I overlooked that 45 truck a lot. I know Cody brings him up almost every week in some capacity or another, and I keep saying, okay, Caden, okay, but now he just continues to run well, and I'm going to take him, surprisingly enough, over Grant Enfinger, -120 over on ESPN Bet. Look, Caden Honeycutt has actually, like I said, opened my eyes a little bit, right? He's actually got 3 top 10 finishes in these 6 starts, 8th place last week at Bristol. He started third place at Martinsville. Unfortunately, couldn't get the finish that he wanted out of it, 26th, but 10th at Homestead, 12th at Vegas, 6th at Atlanta. Crashed out of Daytona. That's going to happen. But I keep waiting for Grant Enfinger to be better the whole time, right? I mean, he did get a second place finish at Vegas, and I thought, all right, cool. That 9 truck is back. We're getting ready to go. And then he finished 9th in Homestead, and I thought, okay, we're pretty good, right? But then 29th at Martinsville, 12th at Bristol, and it's not as if something happened to take him out of it in each one of these, right? He just sort of hasn't been as fast as we expected to be. Whereas Caden Honeycutt, you keep looking up, and he's all of a sudden in the mix for stuff, and he's being talked about on the broadcast, which is always a good indicator as to how far to the front you are when you're getting talked about on the broadcast, because these guys usually only talk about guys at the front of the broadcast. But Grant Enfinger's just not been one of those guys lately, and it's a little frustrating because we keep waiting for him, and he's just not putting it together the way he wants to. Look back at Dover, right? Like I said, I'm taking Dover into account. Obviously, Caden has not made a Truck Series start at Dover, but 8.5 average finish for Grant Enfinger at Dover. He had a 13th place in 2020. Now, think about it this way too. They haven't been to Dover in a while either for this. So 13th place in 2020, 4th in 2019, 14th and 3rd. So, and that was in the 98 truck. So, I mean, this is it's tough. It's tough because I think this is going to be close, but I also think that we've seen Caden Honeycutt actually outperform Grant on a week-to-week basis, and I think it's going to happen again this weekend. I think we're going to be talking about Caden Honeycutt running up at the front. I'm not confident enough to take him as a top 5 truck this week, but I will say that, and if they gave us top 10 odds, I may take him at a top 10, but at least over Grant Enfinger right now at minus 120, I can do that.
I love some Caden Honeycutt, Rod.
I know you do, which is why you constantly take him all the time, and which is why this time I was like, fine, I will take him.
There you go. I like it. All right. Next up from me, we're just going to continue the Fate Xfinity drivers in the truck race. Give me Layne Riggs over Sammy Smith, minus 135. It's a bit juicy to pay up for, but really, I don't think that this one is that close. Layne Riggs is going to be in competition to win this race. He's going to be a front runner. He's going to be one of the 3 to 5 best trucks. I'm going to make more of a case for him here in a minute to finish in the top 3. He's going to be a good truck. Sammy Smith is not going to be good. And I don't remember who it was. Somebody in the Discord tagged me and was like, oh, Sammy Smith back in the trucks. Like, we made so much money fading Sammy Smith last year. Do you remember one of the races? I think it was Martinsville, maybe. We went in. He was like just heavy favorite. Like, it was fucking Kyle Larson and Jeff Gordon had a baby, and Sammy Smith was the baby that was in the truck race. And you're just like, what is going on? And we just took every head-to-head against, and you cashed them all. Like, he's just not been that impressive in the Truck Series. You go back to last year to his starts, like 8th place at Martinsville. Okay, it's a fine run, right? But Riggs is not going to be running 8th. 17th at Milwaukee, not good. 6th at IRP. 5th at North Wilkesboro. Again, mostly only starting on short tracks. Like, is this a short track? Is it not? Who knows? But Riggs, 6th place last week. 2nd at Miami. 5th at Las Vegas. 11th at Martinsville was kind of a bad day, but he's had some good runs. You go back to last year, 1 Bristol, 1 Milwaukee, 5th at IRP, 5th at Gateway, 3rd at North Wilkesboro. Some of the more shorter mile tracks, really, really good days. They matched up 4 times last year, those 4 races that Sammy Smith was in. Sammy got him at Martinsville early in the season before Riggs was what we saw Riggs come out to be at the end of the season. Once Riggs started clicking, easily 3 for 3, beat Smith in all of them. I don't see why he won't this week either, because it's just like Riggs should be an elite top tier truck. Sammy Smith, like, this 07 truck, has it really been that good? We saw Kyle Larson obviously do some damage in it because he drove the 07, right? Or was he in the 7? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. William Byron was shit in the 07 a couple weeks ago. Like, didn't even show up when he ran it. It's not like this truck's been that great. Riggs has been on fire. Chandler Smith, by the way, we gave him out last week in 9-1. He just won at Bristol, his teammate. A lot of other things not going for good for Chandler right now, but the team has looked good. Give me Layne Riggs over Sammy Smith, minus 135. I don't mind. I've gotten more this year into sometimes when these matchups are heavily juiced like this, if it's not really that close, you just pay the juice because you only pay the juice when you lose, Rod. And something has to go wrong for Layne Riggs. I don't think that Sammy Smith is just going to beat him straight up. Something will have to go wrong, and that's going to bite you sometimes, right? blows a tire, penalty, things can go wrong. But if things don't go wrong, Layne Riggs is easily going to be the better truck in this matchup. So it's not even close. I don't mind minus 135.
Yeah, and for Layne Riggs, too, this is a guy that we have been kind of waiting on to get even better than he is, and we've touted him a few times, and he's shown us that, and then he's taken it away. But I think in this instance, yeah, Sammy Smith, not the second coming of Sammy Smith. Now, granted, we'll talk about him a little bit in the Xfinity Series tomorrow, but in the Truck Series, you're absolutely right. I think Layne Riggs still holds the edge over that, so I like this one. All right, if you are a person who likes to speculate on futures, buy pianos now, because after the coming weekend, they will still be so highly priced that you won't be able to do anything about it because they keep falling out of the sky for Ty Majeski. We're back to that part of the season again for Ty Majeski, where in the beginning of the season, we thought for sure that the pianos were dried up from the sky. There's no clouds that make beautiful music that drop pianos, with a 3rd place at Daytona, an 8th place in Atlanta, a 4th place at Las Vegas. But then all of a sudden, pianos started to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Billy Joel kept playing louder and louder. And 11th place at Homestead, a 13th place at Martinsville. He crashed out 33rd at Bristol. Cody, pianos are coming, and they're coming for him quickly. So I'm going to take Layne Riggs' teammate, Chandler Smith, over Ty Majeski, minus 115. We just saw Chandler win last week at Bristol. The guy is back. He's already cursing up a storm at everybody now. It's Chandler Smith against the world, right? 38 against the world all of a sudden. So look for Chandler Smith, average finish of 5.3 this season. He got 6 top 10 finishes in 6 races. It's a 6th place at Daytona, 5th at Atlanta, 8th at Las Vegas, 8th at Homestead, 4th at Martinsville. He won at Bristol. Like, this dude is cooking right now, and it doesn't matter if it's Heim. It doesn't matter if it's anybody in those. He is one of the fastest trucks each and every week. He led 127 laps at Bristol last week, right? So we're not seeing that from Ty Majeski as much as we want to. Ty Majeski is just falling off a cliff again. Or I'm sorry, getting hit by pianos left and right again. And it's just not, it's not the best for him. So I don't think this new track is going to be well, or going to do well for Ty Majeski. Ty Majeski does actually have one career start in Dover, and that was a 14th place finish in the 45, by the way, which is what we're talking about Caden Honeycutt driving. So yeah, it was a 14th place finish, piano free, but still you can't finish 14th to beat Chandler Smith this week. Obviously an experienced driver and somebody that is going to roll with the punches of this new track. So give me Chandler over Ty.
Yeah, I like this one as well. I think, Chandler could be a little distracted this week. If you didn't see the stuff that came out about him this week, go find it on X because you find it there. That's another story. But on the track this year, he's been great. As you just mentioned, things have been going good for him. We hit him 9-1 last week. He looked good. He looked fast. Bristol, could there be some comparisons to this track? Like banked, faster, like it's bigger. Again, where are you pulling stuff from, right? But Majeski, if this was a true short track, you might be a little more scared. If this was more of a North Wilkesboro shorter, then yeah, I think you're more scared of Majeski. But the way things just go wrong for that guy, he could hit, he could miss. We get it. But Smith has been on right now. We just talked about his teammate in Riggs. So yeah, I like the Smith over Majeski play here as well.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, we will come back with more of our favorite plays for this weekend. But let me tell you about officially our friends over at Underdog. It is time for my bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100x. Guys, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix of F1 is happening again this weekend. Well, not again, but it's happening this weekend. Underdog is giving us Max Verstappen's finishing position at 3.5. Are you kidding me? Listen, I get it. I know that it hasn't been his season the way he wanted it to be. But anytime you get Max Verstappen, a podium finish, you got to take it. So give me the higher than 3.5 for Max Verstappen in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Do not look back. Lock it in now before he qualifies well. And actually, you don't get this anymore. So sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN. Allow me to tell you about Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good, it feels like cheating. You can build your own model. It's simple and it is easy. However, you can also use some that the experts like as well. Talk about the NBA playoffs happening this weekend. Well, there's this guy that plays this game called LeBron James, and they have Rhythm having his rebound total set at 7.5. They're recommending the over for you at -114. They're predicting about 8.5 or 8.6 rather rebounds for LeBron James. And if I do math correctly, that is more than 7.5. So please give me the higher than or the better than or the over 7.5, whatever language you want. He's going to get more than 7.5 rebounds in the first game of the playoffs against the Timberwolves. Plus, Rhythm has some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. I wish, among other things, that I would like basketball as much as some of the people that I know around me. I will watch darts. I will watch Call of Duty League. I will watch Australian rules football, but I just cannot get into basketball no matter how hard I try.
You are funny because you will chase the most like smallest sports that you can find in the corner of the earth. But like college basketball, you want nothing to do with. NBA, you want nothing to do with. It is pretty funny, but that's whatever. It is what it is. Little Joker wondering about Casey Kane be back at NASCAR or Rockingham. Wants to know kind of, do you think he's going to do more? We are, if you weren't here at the very beginning. As soon as this episode's over here on YouTube, we're going to start up another stream and go right into the Xfinity Series picks, doubling up today since we didn't get a chance to yesterday. I promise you, very biased, huge fan bets coming from Casey Kane. So there will be plenty of talk as I was a massive Casey Kane fan when he was racing. Right now, I'm a fan of Layne Riggs, and I am a fan of his top 3, plus 180. We just talked about him, how good he's been, how good things have been going for him. You just talked about his teammate, how things have been good for him, how things are going great for him. I'm back on Riggs here, plus 180 for the top 3. I love it. He's 6th place last week, 2nd in Miami, 5th at Vegas. He's had some really good runs here. We saw down the stretch run last season that he's a fast driver in a good truck. And again, that's with not really knowing where to compare this to, what to pull from. That's what I'm looking for. Front Row is an elite truck team. They've got fast trucks. He's going to be fast. He's going to have a good truck. And we've seen him be a great driver. That's really all I need. I think that he's going to have a great day. I think he'll be in contention to win this. I couldn't find a way to bet him outright based on where I'm going. But give me Layne Riggs, top 3 at plus 180.
I mean, again, it's a matter of it's Heim, and then it's got to be these two trucks, the Smith and the Riggs, and then after that you're just sort of guessing as far as who's, because if there's no Cup Series driver in this race, then you're just pulling from it, and you don't know who it's going to be. So I think both of these guys are going to be up front and making a name for themselves on the broadcast. So I love it. All right, driver A has 6 starts on the season, has completed 951 of 953 laps. Has one top 5 finish, 4 top 10 finishes, average finish of 10.7 with 3 top 10 finishes in a row and 4 out of 5 top 10 finishes in the season. You would say to me, that's a pretty solid bet for a guy that could end up finishing 5th place in this race, right? After 7th, 3rd, 7th, and 9th. What if I told you that driver was Jake Garcia in the 13? Would you still believe me then? Guess what? It's Jake Garcia in the 13. And since they don't
catching my tear from calling my fucking shot on this guy last year and him sucking. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I'm pointing toward left field this time and calling Jake Garcia. This is one, Cody. Please give me a top 10. Please because Jake Garcia top 5, he's 10-1 over on ESPN, or if you got Bet365, he's 11-1. I would take 550. I would take 500 for a Jake Garcia top 10. Rod? I would.
Oh, the top 10. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying,
no,
how much less you'd pay on the top 5. I was like, wait a minute.
No, they're going to clip that out and use that against us. No, I would take half of this for a top 10 and light it on fire, because this to me feels like almost the lock of all locks on a top 10. top 5, obviously 10-1. You're widening the odds a little bit. You're making it a little bit more difficult to achieve. But look, like I said, 7th last week, 3rd the week before, 7th the week before that. 3 solid finishes in and around. And then you got to figure there were cup guys, right? In a couple of those races that took a couple of out there. There was a couple of guys that you were probably like, well, how the hell did he end up in the top 5? There was some chaos. There was some stuff that went on. He still finished there. He still finished close enough to make me feel like this is a race in which he can get it done, right? And this is another kid that you talk about. There's really nothing that we can draw from other than what he's done for us lately. I can't go back to you and give you 17 years worth of stats on this track or any other track for that matter, because he's still a young driver. So for me, I'm seeing a kid that is confident, that's driving the truck that he's got underneath them. He's not trying to overdrive it. He's not trying to put himself in situations that's going to take him out of the race each and every week, which, by the way, Cody, is very important this week because you don't know. You've never been on this track before. You've never raced a truck series race on this track before. So you need to be cautious and you need to not take too many chances. So for me, like, this is a perfect storm for Garcia. He started inside of the top 5 a couple of times this season already. In Bristol, he started last week 5th place. At Las Vegas, he started 3rd, and then in Daytona, he started 5th. So good qualifying efforts, right? In fact, he's only qualified outside of the top 10 once in this season, and that was at Homestead, and he ended up finishing 7th in that race. So he had speed to catch back up through the field. So all signs point to Jake Garcia still being a good truck driver. And I think he's going to be able to adapt enough onto this track because he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And I think that's still good for Jake Garcia. So give me Jake Garcia, top 5 at 10-1. God, give me top 10s. I would love to take a top 10 on him.
Oh, I knew he had it in him, Rod. I had the outright for him to win the championship last year. I was like, this kid, he's the dark horse. I don't think he sniffed the top 20 all season long, and it was just horrendous. But he's figured it out this season. You pointed it out. He has run really great this season, but we got so used to, and the books are so slow to react sometimes because we got so used to him being so fucking bad last year that they're not giving him any respect. This is your chance to get in on a guy like this at a big number when he's been running as well as he has. Speaking of guys who've been running as well as they have, what if I told you could get a guy that finished 5th place last week and a guy that finished 5th place the week before at 7-1 for a top 5? That seems a little bit crazy, right? What if I then told you that we're going to a track where we don't know what the fuck's going to happen, and you're getting 2-time champion Ben Rhodes at 7-1 in a Thor Sport truck? Guess what Jake Garcia drives? Wait, is Jake Garcia in the Thor Sport still? Yeah, he is, right? Where is Jake Garcia these days? Yeah, that's a Thor Sport truck. Okay, good conversation. I'm glad I figured that out all by myself. Anyways, back to Ben Rhodes. Rhodes is a great driver, right? And he's the Joey Logano, right? He could be battling for 32nd all day, or he could be winning the race. You get either side of things. But he's already finished really good those couple of weeks, both at Bristol and at Martinsville. Now you're going to another track where we don't really know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to get, but you have a veteran who's a good driver and everything. Again, you just bet on a Thor Sport truck. I'm betting on a Thor Sport truck. Faster trucks, bigger teams. I think that we're going to see the faster teams come out ahead this week. So I love some Ben Rhodes, top 5 at 7-1. Speaking of faster teams, let's go over to Tricon. Gio Ruggiero, top 5, 8-1. Oh, I love this kid. He looked great in the test. I tried to look around. I couldn't find like average lap time. I don't know that if they didn't keep that stuff or if they hid it somewhere and you can't find it. But you can find like single lap times. But I remember Ruggiero was one of the guys that they kind of highlighted. He looked pretty good. And he's looked solid the last couple of weeks. 10th place at Bristol, 12th place at Martinsville, 15th at Las Vegas. None of those are in the top 5. I get it. Again, we don't have the top 10 option like you just talked about. So you have to kind of stretch it to the top 10 or top 5 option rather. But he's looked good. He's looked impressive. He's in a fast truck, which should be a really good truck. Kind of calling my shot on Ruggiero this week at 8-1 for the top 5.
Yeah, so this will be a fun one to cheer for. Sometimes you just got to have those ones that you place that you're like, all right, let's go. I want to see it. And again, another one of those guys where they'll bring him up on the broadcast and you're like, oh yeah, he does exist out there and he's actually running pretty well. So yeah, I'm with you on this one. Can't give us top 10s for the love of God. Don't. I know why you don't. I know why you're scared, and I get that, but whatevs. JDK actually loves the Garcia top 5. Beautiful. Jess
Always
is looking
good when you get JDK's stamp of approval.
I know. Well, hey, listen, because that man does massive research. So
He does.
pull the trigger on Heim time for Jessica, and then she's got Hemrick in the group with Honeycutt. So all right. So you know that when you go onto a car lot sometimes and all you want to do is find a car that starts and can get you a couple of different places. You pray that it gets you where you need to go. This is that bet today. And I do this because really there's not a lot of quality bets outside of the ones we've probably already given you and the couple more that we're going to give you now. There weren't very many head-to-heads other than the ones we gave you. Top 10s kind of get scarce, or top 5s rather get scarce because you can't put everybody in there. But I'm going to do it anyways. Matt Crafton. I almost feel like this should be a sponsored bid. The Matt Crafton top 5. Matt Crafton has driven one truck his entire life, and that is the 88 truck. He is 10-1 for a
He's
top.
probably got 15 starts on this track.
No, actually, he's got 2, but that's still more. Look at the only other active driver that has starts on this track it's just him. It's Matt Crafton. He's the only one, except for Grant Enfinger. I told you has 1 start. So Matt Crafton has 2. Grant Enfinger has 1. But
Enfinger's was Dover, wasn't it? So
no, Enfinger does have 1 on this track.
Really?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Dover.
I don't think Enfinger's been around that long. I think Crafton's the only one for the truck race at least.
Yes, it is true. Definitely the Rockingham on this one. 3rd place in 2012 and then 6th place in 2013 for Matt Crafton on this particular track. So look, average 4.5 in his 2 starts. He led 40 laps in 2012 actually on this track. So what I'm banking on is the fact that he has not forgotten how to get around this. I know he's a little bit more aged than in 2013, but he's the only driver of the mix and the guys over here that really has any experience on this track whatsoever. So it's just about kind of honing that. And I know it hasn't been necessarily the greatest of seasons for Matt Crafton. He's averaging a 19th place finish. He finished 16th last week at Bristol, 27th at Martinsville, 13th at Homestead. He did get a 9th at Las Vegas, which is fun. But here's the thing. There was a couple of those races where he was running inside of the top 5, or at least right around the top 5. And all of a sudden something happened and he got kicked out and kicked away. And it wasn't fun. We talk about Dover being somewhat of a comparable track, as about as much as you can. His last 6 finishes on this track, on Dover, by the way, 5th, 1st, 11th, 2nd, 5th, 2nd. So he can handle the banking of a 1-mile track. He's still a driver that, like I said, you get in the car, you start it, and hope that it gets you where you need to go, and hope that you didn't spend too much money along the way trying to get it to run far enough to get you to the movies. So Matt Crafton is my go ahead and put your Pepsi money on it and go ahead and hope that it gets you a 6-pack by the time you're done.
14-1 over on the Caesars if you've got the Caesars route.
For a top 5?
For a top 5 for Matt Crafton. So
let's go.
If you want a little bit of a better number, but I do like this play. Again, he's a guy who's seen this track before. It's repaved. It's a different surface now. That was 12 years ago. It's not going to be complete muscle memory or anything for him, but he's got experience. I do sort of like some of the veteran angle of whatever this throws at us, he's seen it before, right? Whether it's similar to an old Rockingham, whether it's whatever, he's seen everything at this point because the guy's been around for 150 years. So I do like that angle of things. And at 10-1, if that's where you can get it, or 13-14 on 365 and Caesars, snatched that earlier rather than later probably. But I like it. And he's a guy that, again, can pop up at any point. Oh, another ThorSport truck. Going to be a fast truck, right? That's what you're looking for here.
By the way, Grant Enfinger did make 1 start. It was 2012 here. He finished 36th in his 60 Stacy Compton truck.
Oh, Stacy Compton. Gosh, that's some real throwback for you. Another pin in your fade Enfinger cap there, Rod. So
yeah,
somebody I am, let's see, Brian. Yep, I said this at the top of the show. The repave makes me think we see a Bristol type of race this weekend in both trucks and Xfinity. That's exactly what I said. It's. I think it is going to look, and we're going to get that, especially here at the outright here in a minute. But I think you're going to see it's going to be very fast. There's not going to be a ton of passing. We saw this in North Wilkesboro when they repaved it. Like, that's how repaves are, and that's why we try to avoid it this day and age. Like, we don't want them to repave tracks. Let Kansas wear as long as possible until you absolutely have to repave it, because then you got to go through 5-6 years of less good racing to get back to more of a worn out surface. So I think that you do have a point there. And speaking of fast trucks that should run up front, Daniel Hemrick, I think, could be one of those guys. I'm going to take him to be the top finishing Chevy, 350 rather. 5-1 would be better, but we'll take the plus 350. You look at the Chevy field, and it's just not super strong, right? Sammy Smith, a big favorite. Again, why? What? Why is Sammy Smith the favorite? I don't know. I don't understand. Grant Enfinger, you've made a case against him already. What are we going to get from him? We'll see. Veteran part of it, yes, but okay, Hemrick's next on that list. Honeycutt, who I like, but we'll see. Ankrum, you can't trust. Kruth, you can't trust. I love Parker Kligerman, but we'll see. Corey Day's not done anything. Connor Mosa. Like, the list runs out really quickly when it comes to Chevrolet. And Hemrick is in a fast truck. How many times last year did we see this 19 truck just absolutely on rails with Christian Eckes behind the wheel? Hemrick, again, struggled a bit to open up the season, but got that win now a couple of weeks ago. Has had some pretty decent runs here lately. So, I'm just kind of in on Hemrick, and I think that we're going to see that 19 truck be a fast truck, and I think that at plus 350, it's worth it for top Chevy in, again, a bit of a lesser group of Chevys. There's just not a lot of Corey Heim is not in a Chevy. Layne Riggs is not in a Chevy. If you think it's going to be a Ty Majeski, he's not in a Chevy. You don't have a ton of Chevys who are just going to go out there, light the world on fire. Chandler Smith, not in a Chevy. Like, all the big top dogs, not in Chevys. And so that's a bonus when you're looking at a guy like Hemrick to just, maybe doesn't have to finish in the top 5 to cash a bet like this, because it could be a couple of those Fords and Toyotas, and he's 6th, 7th, 8th on the board and still the best finishing Chevrolet. That's definitely an option. So it just kind of opens things up like the Hemrick top Chevy at plus 350.
I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? I mean, we talk about this being the 11, the 19, the 38, the 34. Like, those are trucks that we always see at the front, and it seems to be that's the same way it is again. And just I don't see that slowing down either. So yeah, the 19, good call on you there. The 18. How about the 18? Driver B has an average finish this year of 9.5. He's got 5 top 10 finishes in 6 starts, 4 of those being top 5 finishes. It's the 18. It's Tyler Ankrum. I beat the drum for this kid each and every week, but he just continues to come through. 4th place last week at Bristol after starting on the outside pole. 2nd place in Martinsville. 4th place at Homestead. 10th at Las Vegas. 3rd in Atlanta. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to promote that kid to a top 3 finish because I like the number. Plus 350 over on ESPN. Plus 375 if you get bet 365 over there. And I mean, I just read off his finishes, right? 4th, 2nd, 4th. Like, this is all circling around that top 3 finish. And then, of course, there were Cup Series drivers. There were other factors that kind of edged him out of a top 3 finish out that. So I just, for me, it's impressive to watch him defy the odds, I guess, right? Because he had to come back through the field and get back into that position. I think the pit strategy cycled him out or whatever, and he managed to get back in there. So the conversation, which I absolutely love him because he's so unassuming. Like, you don't look at him and go, yep, that's a top 5 driver every week, but he is, right? This is him. So we talk about Dover. I pulled a little Dover stats. 7th place in 2020, 9th place in 2019. The first time he was in the 26 truck, the Gallagher truck, and then the 17 was what he was in 2019. That was a Gilliland truck. So again, I mean, this is a kid driving some pretty good equipment. The McAnally equipment is fast. We know that each and every week. So, I mean, look, Tyler Ankrum's going to be in the conversation. His top 5 number is not that sexy to me, so I will take the top 3. But if you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and take the top 5 number if you really want to. But I think it was like plus, or I think it was minus something. I don't remember. I knew I glanced right over because I didn't want it. But yeah, his top 3 number at plus 350, way more attractive to me. So give me Tyler Ankrum, top 3 plus 350.
Yeah, I'm seeing -1 or plus 130 rather for top 5. So definitely less attractive. Yeah, I mean, you've been screaming from the rooftops that Ankrum is good, and really haven't been too wrong for the most part. So hard to argue too much with you there. Brian, great timing. Way to just set it up for me. What time is it?
Tippy time.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's time. This is very simple for me. Plus 200, Corey Heim to win. I really, really like this bet. Corey Heim is he's on another level. You're bringing in a track here. It's a brand new repave. Like Brian just made the point in the comments, we're probably not going to see a ton of passing. We're probably not going to see a ton of racing. This is just going to be a who has the best truck, who's the fastest driver, and Corey Heim checks every single one of those boxes. We've had 6 races this season. Heim has won 2 of them. He could have won 3 because he was killing everybody at Homestead before his truck shut off. Shit's going to happen like that, right? But he has got, in these 6 races, 5 of them, he's finished inside of the top 6. 4 of them, he's finished inside the top 3. With the 2 wins, should have been 3 wins. Corey Heim is just, he is absolutely elite. He's fast. You don't have Kyle Larson in this field. You don't have Kyle Busch in this field. There's nobody else in this field that he just stands alone at this point in the trucks. And even, you don't have Zane Smith like you have. You don't have Christian Eckes like you had last year. All the guys that's kind of really challenged him the most over the last couple of seasons aren't here. This should be a Heim. This could look very much like Kyle Larson on Sunday, where he just kills the whole field the whole day. I wouldn't be shocked by it. So give me Corey Heim at 2-1. And then I've got 2 other outrights because it's always good to have insurance plays, right? Things can go wrong for Heim. Bad pit stop. That's going to be what beats him. Something's going to have to go wrong. It's like that Riggs bet earlier. The only way I see him losing that, really the only way I see Heim losing this race, something's got to go wrong, especially when you look at, where Heim has been good, especially on the bigger or intermediate, faster running tracks. That's where he really just blows the field out of the water. Places like Bristol that are smaller, he struggles a little bit more, although he could still win at short tracks too. But, with Rockingham here, it's still a mile. It's not as small as a Bristol type of track. I don't think he's going to have too much of a problem. But 15-1, Daniel Hemrick. Again, I just kind of sang his praises. And that 19 truck has been really fast. You're giving me a truck that's been fast, a driver that's capable, a veteran, right? Cup Series guy. We saw him in the JGR car a couple of years ago consistently be really fucking fast throughout these races, up front, in good equipment. That's what he's got the chance to do this weekend. He's got that win in the bank now. I think that maybe he could challenge Heim, or if something goes wrong with Heim, 15-1, he's worth it. And Ben Rhodes, who's finished in the top 5 2 weeks in a row at 50-1. What are we doing here? You got to just a little bit. Ben Rhodes could just, and he's again like a Joey Logano, the guy that could just come out, and if it's his week, good fucking luck. You're not going to catch the guy, right? He can be that good. You don't see it too often, but when you see it, you see it. And at 50-1, if it does turn into a Rhodes type of day, again, a veteran driver who's good at being there at the end. Maybe it is something crazy. Maybe we have a late race restart in the right position at the right time. That's what you're looking like for a bet. What you're looking for with a bet like that. So give me Ben Rhodes at 50-1 as well.
Yeah, can't argue with you on any of it. I will. What do the kids say? Squad ride with you on the Heim. It is definitely going to be Heim time. It'll be Tiffy time this weekend. It'll be Heim time this weekend as well.
That's
so
no cap, bro.
No cap. All sheesh. What? I don't know. But somebody yesterday, I was doing a live show, and they were like, "He's the best, no cap," and I was like, "I've never seen that actually in the wild."
Wow, you were pulling in a young audience there, Rod.
I was totally.
You just keep on slaying.
Hey, look at God. Tyler Ankrum, 16-1. I just talked about him a second ago. Look, if it's not Heim, it's going to be one of these guys that have been living around the top 5, just like Cody said, over the last few races, and Tyler Ankrum is one of those guys, fourth. So. I mean, look, if the first 2 cars blow up in front of him, now Ankrum's in position to win. A couple weeks ago, if one car blows up in front of him, or truck rather blows up in front of him, he wins this race. So for Tyler Ankrum, this is built in a 16-1 for a guy that's 4th place over the last few weeks. I'll take the chance on that any day of the week, because anything can happen in the front. Late restart, somebody gets into somebody, and Ankrum's in the right lane to not have to or he avoids the chaos and scoots right by. It's just, there's a lot of different scenarios in which a 16-1 can win when he's been finishing inside of the top 4 on a 3-week basis. So I'll take that gamble. I'll take that risk. And I think that's going to happen again this time. And just in case Heim doesn't win, I want that insurance. I want somebody that I know is going to be skulking around the front that can pick up the scraps from where that got left off. So Ankrum at 16-1. That's my outright if it's not Heim.
Yeah, and like as much as we think it should be Heim time, his truck is shut off while he's blowing Kyle Larson out of the water. it happens, right? And that's why you have the insurance plays, because things can go wrong. You get those late race restarts, bad pit stop. Like, if it doesn't, though, it should really be a Corey Heim day. Jessica tossing out. She took Daniel Hemrick rather in a group over on Caesars over Enfinger, Honeycutt, Ankrum plus 240. I like that. Yeah, I do like that. I know you're in on Ankrum. I'm still not on the Ankrum bus, but yeah, give me some Hemrick in that one too.
Oh my God. Tyler Ankrum has finished inside of the top 5 in the last.
If you're not going to say that Ty Gibbs is good, I'm not going to say Tyler.
He's only been in the top 10 in 2 races in a row. What are we going to, or 3 races in a row?
And he's also a legendary Xfinity Series driver. Right?
Crown him already.
If he played for Colorado, they would have retired his number a long time ago.
Jesus Christ. Just crown him already. All right. Let's make him the anointed one. I am not in for this. All right. Get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to the YouTube crowd, because they didn't give us the odds on time. The graphics department was closed and I couldn't get in. They locked the door on me. I look like that guy trying to get into the facilities when he couldn't open the door. So no graphic, but get it out like we did in the old school and just start writing it down. Cody gave you Daniel Hemrick over Brandon Jones at -120 over on ESPN. I said Caden Honeycutt would finish better than Grant Enfinger at -120. Cody then followed it up with Layne Riggs over Sammy Smith at -135. I said that Chandler would finish better than Ty Majeski at -150. Cody gave you Riggs as a top 3 truck at +180. I said Jake Garcia would sneak his way into the top 5 at 10-1, or if you got Bet365, 11-1. Cody gave you Cody Rhodes. I've been watching too much wrestling again lately. Ben Rhodes as a top 5 truck at 7-1. And then Ruggiero as a top 5 truck at 8-1. I said Matt Crafton would be a top 5 truck at 10-1, 13-1, or wait, we said 14-1 on
14-1 over on the Caesars.
Love that one. So that's better than even the 13-1 on 365. So we'll go there. Cody said that Daniel Hemrick would be the top Chevy at +350. And then I said Tyler Ankrum would be a top 3 truck at +350 over on ESPN, and +375 over on 365 if you have that. Cody said it's time at 2-1, which I agree with him there. Daniel Hemrick at 15-1. Cody Rhodes 50. Ben Rhodes 50-1. Just Ben, change your name to Cody, please. It makes it easier for me.
It is a great name.
It really is. And then Tyler Ankrum 16-1 as my winning truck pick for the Black's Tires 200 from the Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina. Cody, a truck episode, a full truck episode.
A full truck episode. It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. What do you think we go ahead and do the Xfinity show right now?
I'm ready. Let's go. I feel like we now I finally get to fully get into my Ty Gibbs rant. But, yeah. So.
All right. Yeah. If you're here on the YouTube, just stay tuned to the YouTube channel there. We'll be live again here within the next probably 5 minutes, if not less. And we'll be jumping right into the Xfinity picks and everything, since, again, condensed week. We didn't get a chance to do it yesterday with no odds. These races are on Friday and Saturday, so we want to kind of get them in and give you time to listen if you are listening later on. So, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. And see you guys for Xfinity Talk. And Casey Kane, let's fucking go.
Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in about everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it is the back road. Got some stuff going on there for the in-between media. And then, of course, go check out, if you haven't already, which is why I've been saying Cody Rhodes all day. I was on a show last night called Root Beer and Popcorn, or Popcorn and Root Beer, rather, talking WrestleMania. So that was a lot of fun. Go check that out as well. Just like Jessica says, go trucks. All right, we're done with the trucks. Let's go to Xfinity. Hang tight. We'll make a quick pit stop, and then we'll be right back for some Xfinity action. So until then, everybody, we love you all. Let's go racing and let it ride.